This video is going to be a belated film study look at the Lions' defensive issues early in their Thanksgiving Day loss to the Packers. There were multiple issues that compounded together to create a loss at home, 29-22. I think the gameplay was a wider disparity than a one-touchdown loss at home. Nonetheless, give the Lions credit for the second week in a row. They were able to make a comeback in the fourth quarter, make the game close. Unfortunately, unable to pull it off like they were 5 days earlier against the Bears. I'm going to focus on the first two possessions here. I was unable to get this video completed before Saturday evening because I've been traveling, number one, and number two, you can probably tell, my voice doesn't sound great. So I attempted to record and film this video 2 times previously. My voice wouldn't make it through it. So my apologies for that. What we will do here is I will look at the first two possessions completely, play by play. I won't break down each one in detail necessarily, but the idea will be for me to give you my thoughts on what, quote, went wrong on the day. So this is the first play of the game. 11 personnel bunch. 1 high safety alignment by the Lions. You can see Tracy Walker is in the box. Big throw up top. Severely underthrown, obviously, by Jordan Love. Tracy Walker's not in the box. My apologies. Tracy Walker's a free safety. Kirby Joseph is in the box. They did this consistently early on in the game. And I think that from a standpoint of how much talent you have to get to the quarterback and cover people deep, to me, I think there's inferior talent for some of the players that you're going to go up against, particularly in a playoff situation. You can see it's a long throw by Love. No one is near him, number one. Number two, Watson has a step. Additionally, I'm not sure that Walker is in position to help defend it. You got a 3 deep, 3 under coverage. So an attempt to possibly bring 5. Nonetheless, nothing happens. Big play, 52 yards right off the bat, 53 yards. Defense is put on the back foot. Short pass to the right side, slant, flat combination. Big hit by Tracy Walker on Christian Watson. I mean, you have to give Christian Watson credit. Hasn't produced a lot this season because of injuries. Comes in, makes an impact early on. Running back into the flats. Ex-receiver Watson on a slant. Love reading it quickly, so the ball's going to be out fast. Not necessarily going to have an opportunity to get to the quarterback on some of these 3-step situations. Not exactly a 3-step look by Love in this situation, but you can see the window is clearing because Anzalone's gone with the running back. Sticks the throw in there, not too far in front of Watson, such that he's going to take an even bigger hit from Tracy Walker. 8-yard gain on a 1st and 10. Packers offense was rolling. Thought they had a great game plan. A.J. Dillon, 4 yards. You're going to see the same concept, I believe, 2 plays in a row, meaning a wide receiver out of an 11 personnel group on the snap is going to loop around from the left side of the offense to go lead up. In this case, I believe he's assigned to go get Tracy Walker, the safety who's in the box. You have some lack of communication here by these 2 safeties, by Sutton, and Kirby Joseph. Both of them are bailing out. I think you're a man down to the boundary, even though strong safety Walker is there. Ends up being a 4-yard run for Dillon to convert the first down. Let's see it one more time through. And then the ensuing play, you can see the Packers thought they had something clearly because they're base blocking the edge defender Hutchinson. Combo blocking here, presumably to get up to the mic. And then wide receiver 18, Heath, is looping around to go get the strong safety. So they think they got a hat for a hat. They've caught the Lions in this motion on this particular play. Not a huge gain. Come right back to it on the next play. And in my opinion, that just tells me they've confirmed something from film study during the game. Motion by Watson. If you remember on the previous play, it was Heath motion through and then come back to go block Tracy Walker. This time, they let Watson go through and bring the ensuing receiver across. Now, to make the block on Walker. Now, he misses. Walker makes a nice play in the box. I thought it was a tackle for loss, but it goes down as a 0-yard gain. You can see the big-ass hole that is there if that receiver is able to get a hold of Tracy Walker in any manner. The Packers had this set up coming into the game, number one, if you ask me. The third play of the game, the first run by Dillon on the second and 2 for 4 yards, I think confirmed it for their head coach, the guys that are in charge of calling their offensive plays. And then they went right back to it. In this case, Tracy Walker made a fantastic play. and I think Aiden Hutchinson gets involved late as well. I'm not sure how that doesn't go down as a tackle for loss back at the 12. The ball was spotted first and goal from the 10 or the 9 3/4, I guess. And the very next play, the ball was spotted there again. I have no idea how the ball was that poorly spotted in the NFL, but this is a great throw. This is a great throw by Jordan Love. Sticks this in there. Watson doesn't look like he has any intention of possibly getting the ball as the number 2 receiver. Here he's going to run the little out. Jaden Reed one-on-one against Branch, going to bring the route back in, and it's man. Getting rid of the ball quick. Love knew what coverage he was going to get. It was confirmed pre-snap for him. Stuck the ball in there. Clean win for Jaden Reed. Unusual timing and spacing here. You do see Watson a little bit on the right-hand side of the screen and how tight this window is in terms of there being some congestion there. 2 offensive players potentially in the same area. Jack Campbell looks like he's worried about Watson eyeing the receiver. No awareness of the in cut by Jaden Reed. Neither does the defender assigned to Watson have any awareness of it because he's playing man. Quick touchdown. If you ask me, the Packers came in with these play concepts ready to go for those situations. Did they know that they were going to work in that succession? Of course, you can't predict that a 53-yard bomb is going to work on the first play of the game. But when they got that one high look, I think that Jordan Love knew exactly where he was going with the football in that situation. Severely underthrown football that nonetheless Christian Watson was able to go up and get. 7-0 Green Bay. Second possession. First play of the possession, negative 25-yard line. A.J. Dillon run. What do you notice? Running, or a wide receiver coming back across. If you remember on the first play I showed you, the first run play, he reversed field and went to go block the strong safety. In this case, there is no strong safety there. You've got what to me looks like DB level confusion down here to the bottom side, Dillon to the top side. Nice play by, I think that's Josh Pascal, to limit him for a 4-yard gain. I think the Packers had some cool concepts set up to take advantage of the one high safety alignment in the pass game, number 1, and number 2, to create conflict with motion for perimeter defenders, cause guys to be a little bit later closing down, like Brian Branch, who's usually so quick with such burst, and force it to where they can't be involved in play because they're worried about the motion, the potential of a bubble down there to the bottom side of the screen. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. 2nd and 6, 11 personnel again. And this one's tough because this is Cam Sutton, and I think he's had a really good year for Detroit. To me, Aaron Glenn came in here thinking that his guys could guard the Packers receivers one-on-one, and at least on Thanksgiving Day, they were not able to. You saw Brian Branch get beat for a touchdown down inside the 10. And now here is Sutton, who I believe has had a solid year for them, getting beat clean on a 2nd and 6, man-free again. With a 4-man rush, not able to get there with that 4-man rush. Perhaps we could be short-sighted here, or Monday morning quarterback, and say, sooner or later we got to bring that 5th guy and try to get to the quarterback. You got man. You have to, if you're going to play man-free, you have to account for the 5 potential guys who could go catch the football. And in this case, normally it's going to be Anzalone on the running back, which it is. The 5th guy, potentially for you to add on as a rusher, is the low hole dropper. I'm not saying that this is what Aaron Glenn needs to do to fix everything. I'm saying at some point during this game, looking at the defensive film, I would have expected to see a little bit more of that. I didn't. What I thought, and I'm only talking about the first 2 possessions here in terms of the film study, what I did see was him stop playing man-free because his guys got beat the way that I'm showing you here, Sutton and Branch, among others. 16-yard gain for Heath, who's clearly a talented football player. Me, personally, I would think that Sutton would win that matchup more often than not, and he did not in this case. End zone angle, just so you can see the nature of the coverage. Anzalone is going to be dealing with the running back. Barnes is the low hole dropper, middle of the field. Reading the quarterback's eyes. And you can see here that Heath is snapping this route down Jordan Love throws it sidearm, enough juice to get the ball there. 16-yard gain. 1st and 10, midfield. Dillon for 2 yards out of 12 personnel. Packers consistently gave this look to the Lions with 2 tight ends. Unusual split to this wing alignment. Basically, you got them reversed. The outside tight end is on. Inside tight end is off. Toss play. Great job by Jack Campbell filling the hole. Does end up being a big lane there, however. Only goes down as a 2-yard gain. I thought Campbell played really well the week before against the Bears. Didn't show up as much statistically here at home on Thanksgiving Day. Nonetheless, this is a great fit. Off tackle, tackling a huge running back for a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8 from the negative 47. These next 2 plays are tough because you get a nice job by Alex Anzalone on secondary QB contain. I know that he's having a great year in coverage. He also has a knack for these secondary contain situations, meaning if the primary edge defender can't contain the quarterback for whatever reason, the scheme forced him to react a certain way, he ends up getting cut. Fine. Inside linebackers are normally the secondary contain guy to overlap. Anzalone's great at it. He did it against the Raiders twice. He did it against the Bucs one time in Week 6 on the road. He is so good coming downhill. I almost feel like the situation the situation the Lions defense is in now, with the lack of pressure, that 5th add-on rusher, I wonder if it should be him. Maybe you guys have a different thought on it, but he's a guy who has a burst, I think has 3 sacks on the year, has the right instincts for where to fit. He's so damn good in coverage that you don't want to, quote, waste him there. But what's happening right now in coverage, at least man-free, is not working, if you ask me. Good job by the safety, I think, being in position to cover up the route by Watson, coming across the field, and a good job hanging out back on the backside for the potential throwback screen late. Incomplete pass sets up a 3rd and 8. And to the point about talent level, hopefully this doesn't sound inflammatory, but it's just not a great matchup when you have Christian Watson, 6'4", 4.35, 4.37, somewhere in that range, area receiver, who beat you deep on the first play, Cam Sutton, now potentially could threaten you for the a deep route here. Said he's running basically a speed out against Jerry Jacobs. And look, it takes a great throw to be put only in an area where Christian Watson can catch it. I say great throw. It's located where only Christian Watson could catch it. But the coverage isn't tight, number one, perhaps because of the threat of the vertical that Jerry Jacobs knows exists there with Christian Watson. It's a great catch by him. That dude's seriously talented. He's going to make plays against anyone. I offer to you that even though I really do like Jerry Jacobs, and I'm glad that he's had 3 interceptions this year, had an impact, I don't know that that's a good matchup at this point in time. But you've got Branch beat for a touchdown on the first possession. Cam Sutton beat by Heath for a 16-yard gain in man on this possession to get it started on a 2nd and 6. And now here on a critical 3rd and 8, Christian Watson against Jerry Jacobs. I think that's a bad matchup. I think that's one that Green Bay would expect to win more often than not. Let me phrase it like that. Creates a 1st and 10. And this would go against what I just said about Anzalone being used as a +1 blitzer because of how slow Barnes' reaction is. Same formation that I talked about, 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, outside guys on the line, inside guys off, so kind of reversed alignment. Play action to Dillon, and there's really no reason for Barnes to not be able to cover this better on a play action concept. If you think it's quarter, half, which it possibly could be, then Barnes got to get to the flats. He's the guy to the quarter side. He's got to be in the flats. He basically has a mirrored assignment to Jerry Jacobs in the flat down here. Now, it's a play action, which can sometimes skew the pass distribution of your defenders. Nonetheless, there's got to be some work here. He's turned and looked. There's no work for you right now. He's trying to get underneath of this deeper dig here, and Dillon just too much space, if you ask me. I think he's got to be wider by 3.5 to 4 yards there on his angle. So perhaps my suggestion to have Anzalone be that fifth add-on rusher in a man-free where you bring 5, somewhat atypical usage of man-free or cover 1, and use Barnes or Campbell in coverage. Some people would say on the running back that that's not a good idea either. That possibility exists. 1st and 10 now on the 33. And this one's difficult. They blocked them up well. So credit to the Packers. But it's to the side where you have the nickel defender, Brian Branch. They're also pinning down on the D end. I just don't see the same level of angle here by the inside linebackers. In fact, Anzalone's getting cut off. And your inside linebackers are not playing at downhill angles at all. Part of that is the O-lineman is getting free release. It's a nice play call by the Packers, don't get me wrong. 15 yards for Jaden Reed, talented football player out of Michigan State. Film was great on him in college, so I'm not surprised that he's making plays. A little bit surprised that the Lions get outflanked so easily out on the edge. And are really getting beat up by run and pass concepts all over the field on the first 2 possessions. Watson for 8 yards. Down here at the 18 out of 11 personnel. It's an out by 2. And again, nobody is in the flats. If you ask me, you got 3 up here. 1, 2, 3 receivers. A tight end is down there, kind of tucked in there. Not sure if you can see him. Watson's just going to run a little out behind a clear out route by number 1. I don't think anything they're doing, the announcers on Thanksgiving Day were giving credit to Matt LaFleur and the Packers for all of this aggressive stuff. You tell me. I don't see anything that looks revolutionary. I don't see anything that's super creative here. These appear to be quite basic concepts that worked because DBs got beat in man, or worked because people weren't coming downhill to play the run more aggressively. No one was setting an edge on that particular sweep. The defensive end, Pascal, gets pinned. Someone else, Branch or the corner, has to set a hard edge. Or here in zone, there's just too much space to the flats, just like there was on an 11-yard completion to Dillon. I'm not trying to set a negative tone here, but none of this looks real well-designed to me. Now the Lions have decided to stop the run on a 2nd and 2. They limit Dillon for 1 yard, so it's a successful play from the standpoint of it creates a 3rd and 1, potentially to get a stop for a field goal. I'm not a huge fan of the look with Jack Campbell and other inside linebackers in tight ends' faces. In this case, it works. They really congest things up there. Kaminsky and I think Hutchinson folds in to make the tackle, set up this 3rd and 1. And this is poor. This is just poor. For right now, Watson is up there with a tight end, so it's 11 personnel. A.J. Dillon's also on the same side. You have all this stuff that can be done pass-wise with 3 receivers into the boundary. You know, you could have snag, smash, which I'm not able to really draw great because of the angle that we have on the screen here, but you have 3 potential receivers to that side. So someone's got to guard the tight end. Someone's got to guard the running back, and someone's got to guard Watson. Well, Tracy Walker goes for the quarterback. Watson is being guarded by Sutton. That's a corner, outside corner against a receiver. That makes sense. The tight end steps to Hutchinson. Hutchinson tries to release off of him. The tight end actually tosses him a little bit free. And no one is on the tight end. Whether that's on Hutchinson, I don't listen to press conferences. You guys know that. So feel free to let me know in the comment section what's been said about it. Whether that's on Hutchinson, whether that's on Walker, it ain't on Cam Sutton because you're not putting Walker on Watson and Sutton on the tight end. That's not generally what you're going to do from a matchup standpoint if you're playing man, which it looks like we're playing man down here. Branch is behind on Reed again, but he also has the safety in here to potentially help him to kind of funnel that guy in. You can see Branch fall off and basically release it to Joseph. No one takes the tight end. You should be disappointed, if you ask me, in the level of execution, in the lack of aggression. I don't think the initial calls in pass rush attempts were aggressive enough at all to me. I don't think the coverage was any damn good either across the board. And later on in the game, probably mid-second quarter, it looked like to me Aaron Glenn dialed back some of the man coverages because he didn't trust the guys to cover in the first place. Now, that could be an oversimplification, and that may not fit with some of the other things that you guys have heard since Thanksgiving Day. But nonetheless, that's kind of the way I saw it, at least for the first half. I'm still trying to work through the third and fourth quarter. As I said, I've been traveling for the better part of 6 days, and haven't felt completely 100%, but I'm getting there. Appreciate you guys' time. If you fought through the video, dealing with my voice, I appreciate it. Let me know what you think of my comments as it relates to the first two possessions, how the Packers were really able to just slice the defense up with run and pass concepts, pretty much regardless of who touched the football. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section.